Welcome back to the American Legends Watch channel, featuring Sinn on the channel today. Wearing my Sinn 104, one of my favorite watches. Special edition with the blue and this aftermarket strap I love so much from the folks at Two Stitch Straps. Finally did get the opportunity to get hands-on with one of these new Sinn 903s, the ST2. Follower of the channel offered to sell me his that he bought after catching my review on it, so definitely had to take him up on that. So here we go, took it out of the shipping box. I'm now the second owner of this limited 500-piece Sinn 903 ST2. So here we go, with no further ado. 1, 2, 3. Lift the box up, and pretty tight, and there it is. Oh, so just like the 104, same box, same kind of instruction manual you get here with picture of the actual watch. So this is the light blue special edition, no date, 41 millimeters in 903 ST. Here's the inner leather box. 1, 2, 3. Open that up. And inside, ooh, look at that. Wow. Oh, you could feel the weight of that on that stainless steel bracelet, the fine link bracelet. Just immediately see the finishing quality on that. Wow. Let's take it off its little pillow here. Of course, inside the box comes with a leather strap. Very fetching. 22 millimeters. That light blue dial with the radial finishing. Piston pushers, not screwed down, but this still gets 200 meters of water resistance. Just so much better than the Breitling Navitimers. Screw down crown, fairly large. Sticks out a fairly large amount. Doesn't really need to stick out that much. Let's see, unscrew it. There is no ghost date that I can tell. The other versions of the 903 ST2 do have a date complication, which would tuck in here between the two subdials. This does not have one at all, which I prefer. That's a very smooth wind. It's a Joux Perret Swiss movement inside, which this is the first watch I think I've had with that manufacturer. Every movement manufacturer has a different feel to it. So this has a very smooth feel on the wind. Very nice. Don't want to overwind it. Okay, just enough. Let's get the running seconds in that left dial spinning for us. This is a column wheel chronograph, and it has a see-through caseback, display caseback, unlike my neo-vintage Navitimer. Only the most recent Navitimers with the BO1 movement show it off. But this Joux Perret movement, look at the size of that column wheel. That's the largest column wheel I've ever seen, and they cut away the plate to show it off even better. How about that? All right, let's engage it, see how that works and sounds. 2, 3. Very crisp, very easy to push. Especially compared to the BO1s that I've been hands-on with, like my Tudor chronograph. The action is very kind of stiff on the pushers. That's just very easy. Ooh, that reset is almost instantaneous. Look at that. Classic red tip, just like the Navitimers have. Sewing needle and counterbalance on the end of that chronograph hand. So pretty. Very similar handset. Just a little bit of a triangular end to otherwise kind of stick hands. And then let's see that reset again. It is so fast. So I'm glad I'm recording 60 frames per second. Watch this. Boom. Absolutely a split second. Look at that. All right, let's check out the bezel action. Very nice. Very nice. Kind of loosens up after you spin it a little. First little spin is kind of more friction, but then once you get it spinning, it's really buttery. Otherwise, we've got a 30-minute counter on that right recess dial. We've got an hour totalizer there, and the bottom dial goes up to 12 hours. Nicely recessed with a beveled edge. Kind of a frosted white finish in the subdials and on the track of the rotating bezel. Definitely silvery, almost opaline, and very nicely kind of radial brushed finished. And all those elements, the handset, very nicely polished. Big blocks of bloom as the hour markers with the 12, which is kind of a nod to the older Navitimer references, which did have a 12 printed. Whereas these aren't printed, only the scales are printed, but everything else, including that Sinn logo, which just catches the light very nicely. Kind of goes, it's just a polished metal Sinn logo, and it kind of goes from shining to black depending on the way the light catches it. Similar to the handset. It's a fairly thick brushed finish on the outside, perfectly brushed. Nice polish on the chamfered edges coming down. No sharp edges. The bracelet, kind of, those links do protrude a little. But overall, it feels smaller than 41 millimeters. My 104 is also 41 millimeters. Seems to be a sweet spot for Sinn, is 41 millimeter size. So just kind of slip them on both at the same time. You can kind of see visually. Both have a fairly large bezel, but with the white bezel, it does kind of wear smaller because the dial color is more narrow. The dial itself is probably more like 38 millimeters. So should not wear large, should be fairly compact. All right, let's take the 104 off. Which absolutely is a keeper for me. Also has a see-through case back. Also has a fairly conservative rotor. Zoom in on that. The special editions have that kind of brass shiny rotor that I do like to see. These have just I'm sure that's just a stainless steel on that rotor, but the blue screws, the blue column wheel are the kind of the featured elements. Otherwise, fairly conservative finishing on there. Some stripes on the rotor, some stripes on the plates, but nothing really over the top there on finishing. No quick release on the bracelet. You got to reach in there with a tool to get the bracelet off, but I'm not planning on taking this bracelet off anyway. Butterfly, deployant clasp, everything here very shiny. And on my 6.5 inch wrist, that is definitely not too large of diameter. It is pretty thick. It is noticeably thicker than the 104, roughly the same thickness as the Navitimer, but all of these mechanical chronographs are going to be fairly thick. So look at that, catching the light on the wrist. Definitely feel the weight of it. I think I read before this was 88 grams. So substantial presence, not entirely cuff friendly, but none of these watches with the slide rule bezel and the knurling on there, they're all going to try to tend to hang up on the cuff. But my kind of signature move anyway is I like to see my watches, so I just turn up the edge on the cuff all day so I can see it. So there you go, Sinn 104 and Sinn 903. Two Sinns now in the collection and not going anywhere. Love me some Sinn. So I'm going to take some links out of this, take some more pictures of this, take some macro shots of this. Man, just look at how pretty that is without being ostentatious. Let me grab my Tudor and kind of hold that side by side. We can kind of see what I mean by ostentatious. So here's my Tudor Blackbay chrono, which is a little bit larger. That's about a 42 millimeter compared to the 41 of the Sinn 903 here. And again, the Sinn 903, just visually, it looks smaller because of the white of that slide rule bezel. And the Tudor just has a much bigger presence. It's kind of one reason why it hasn't gotten a whole lot of wrist time for me, and I've left some of the stickers on it. I actually decided to sell this to try to fund this guy, so this guy is currently up for sale. But I just feel like I'm going to get more wrist time and more use out of the little more under the radar Sinn 903. The real question is going to be, do I hang on to the Breitling? It's Neo Vintage Breitling. We'll just kind of have to see what kind of wrist time they both get. See if we can resolve that. Look at that little hex key. I bet you there's a little hex key in the kit too. To take these links out, that's going to make that a lot easier. Which is good because the little flathead, I'm always worried about scratching the links when I try to reach in with the tiny little flathead to take links in and out. Good times. Alright, well if you have enjoyed this video, hope you have, please do hit the like button, subscribe, put your comments down below. If you've gotten one of these 903s and any of the other configurations, you have thoughts about the 903 versus the Navitimer, please drop them in the comments below and I'll be happy to respond. But that's it for now. Until the next video, God bless. Have fun out there.